This is Sports 225 with Lee Feinswald.
Lee Feinswald, look at the kiss.
Sports 225 is brought to you by Brett. Remember, it all starts at Brett. Now, your host, Lee Feinswald.
Wide, and we go this, and then we go there. Good evening. I am so happy to have as my guest tonight LSU Athletic Director Joe Alleva. And I got to tell you a funny story first, because we had a scheduling snafu that we had to work out together. And I promised him, I said, Joe, well, we've got to make this work. And I said, I'll name my next pet Alleva. So, you're talking about it, we have 3 dogs and 2 cats. So it's going to be a while.
Yeah, you'll probably get a goat or something and name it.
It's like a little Chicago Cubs curse or something, but that would beat mowing the lawn in South Louisiana.
Absolutely. There you go. It may help you make money.
That's a goat. Joe Alleva is, in fact, the LSU Athletic Director, and this is a great time of year for you. Every one of your teams is undefeated as we start this 2013-2014 school year.
Absolutely. I've been doing this for a long time, but I still get excited at the start of school, see all the freshmen move in and all their bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I'm in the kid business, and I love to see kids come in as freshmen and watch them develop and move on and become mature adults. So it's a fun time of the year.
Everybody, naturally, I think most of the people watching and the people who have emphasis about LSU think about, well, it's football season and football players are reporting and there's so much focus on them. But they forget how many sports you have and how many athletes there are.
We have 20 sports, and they're all gearing up. And, we're going to have a really exciting year with volleyball and soccer starting. We got a soccer game coming up here soon, and volleyball is really good. So I'm really excited about the fall. We should have a great fall.
How many coaches and how many athletes?
Well, we got 20 sports. We've got about 14 head coaches, because a couple of them coach more than one sport. And
track and field, cross country,
yeah,
or
they
volleyball.
counted 6.
Volleyball now, sand volleyball.
It's sand volleyball.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have 21 sports now, because sand volleyball makes it 21, and we've got around 450 athletes.
How many of them could you say hello to by the first name? Pretty close. It's hard, I would think.
It's hard. I would say maybe around 300 of them I could say hello to on a first name basis.
That's really good. That's good. Unlike where you went to school in Pennsylvania and Lehigh,
Yep.
I remember my freshman year, my first time at Syracuse, I thought that was hot, but it was nothing like coming to LSU as an athlete for
Hot as far
August.
as climate, there's no comparison. Oh my. I mean, in Pennsylvania it might get to 90 degrees, but there's no humidity, and it gets down to 60 at night. But here, it's, the humidity is the real killer here. It's 95 and 100% humidity, and it only goes down to 78 at night. So there's a big difference.
No, I know. I can't even imagine going through 2-a-days and stuff that the guys do.
Well.
A lot of things I want to cover with you tonight. Certainly your football team, the scheduling in the SEC, which you devoted a lot of time and energy to in the recent past,
Right.
and other things. But let's start with the stadium, because there's so much going on there. Now, if you've ever driven at LSU, or even in Baton Rouge when LSU returns to school, quagmire is a tactful word. So you guys closed down a whole avenue over there for what's going on, but it's going to be worth it.
Well, when our fans come on campus for the first game, I think they're really going to be impressed with the North Stadium and what we've done there. All the plaza's been all redone. All the chain link fencing's been replaced.
And this is the side facing the Assembly Center.
Correct.
Yeah,
the north side. It's all been redone. The gates have been redone. It looks like a brand new stadium. All of the windows now have been replaced. Around the whole stadium, all the windows have been replaced. And when we finish the South Stadium expansion, that'll be completed next season. Tiger Stadium will look like a brand new stadium. It's going to look terrific, and that's what it should look like. It's an iconic, historic stadium that deserves to be restored and be first class.
The window project is now about 3 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, well, actually, we replaced a bunch of them last summer, and we replaced the rest of them this summer. So it's really only been 2 years of actual replacement going on.
Now, if you look at Tiger Stadium, there are a bunch of windows there because one point many years ago, it was a dormitory. There were offices in there,
Right.
and whatever. And those parts of it, which were very visible to the football crowds, were in disrepair. And then you made that a fundraising thing, right? Like, couldn't you like buy a window and help out and everything?
And we sold the windows, and people bought them, and all the people that bought windows will be recognized around the stadium. We have donor plaques all around the stadium illustrating which window each person bought with their name on. So it's cool.
Did you get
great.
one?
I did not. I did not get one. I've got a tree. I got a tree.
You got a tree?
I endowed a tree, but I have not bought a window.
You endowed a tree.
I did.
I never knew you could do such a thing. Where is it?
My tree's over by the baseball stadium.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The Alleva tree. That's even better than naming a pet after you. So
Well, I
good.
did it after my father. I did it for my father.
That's nice. And baseball's close to your heart.
Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
baseball. Yeah.
I mean, you played. Your son's in
played.
baseball. He's still with the Astros.
My son works for the Astros.
Yeah. Tell us about that a little bit.
My son is the national cross-checker for the Astros. He's got 6 or 7 scouts that works for him, and he goes around checking on prospects, seeing if they should draft him or not.
And as long as we're on the Astros, because why not? We'll get to LSU in a second. So earlier this week, Forbes magazine came out with a report that said the Astros were the single most profitable baseball team this year. And of course, this is a team that's going to have by far the worst record. How hard is it? It must be torturous for your son and for you as a fan watching and seeing how they've gone with this youth movement that may take 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
and
they
of
have
course,
it-
seeing it is a whole other story because we can't see the Astros here because a couple of cable companies are in a
That's very
Nah,
frustrating not being able to watch them. But
know.
you know, they're profitable because they had the lowest payroll in Major League Baseball, and they have decided to go with the youth movement. And their minor league teams are doing very well. They've got a lot of good young talent in the minor leagues, but it's going to take them a while to develop to become major leaguers.
Yeah, they're playing like the 24th and 25th guys on rosters and AAA guys, it seems like.
Correct.
All right, one more question, because we talked about this with Chad Durbin last week, since you're a baseball guy, and we'll get this in. All right, this whole thing about baseball etiquette now, you're not allowed to even like look at your home run and admire it. And guys throwing it at people and stuff. Doesn't it, as a baseball guy, doesn't it drive you a little bit nuts?
Yeah, I think that there's a fine line between you should be able to admire your home run, but you shouldn't show up the other team.
Right.
And I think that's where if you're showing up the pitcher and you're showing up the other team, I think that's when you cross the line. But you know, just watching it for a while and then running around the bases, I mean, everyone's. Babe Ruth used to do that, so I don't think that's a big deal.
You want to talk about PEDs? No. Joe Alleva is the LSU athletic director. When we get back, we'll get into the meat of things, which would probably be the SEC football schedule and what LSU perceives to be an imbalance. I'm Lee Feinswag. You are watching Sports 225.